And welcome to the Frame100 podcast.
Woo!
That's all you got. That's all you got, guys. I tell you 1 minute. I tell you 5 minutes. You're not even hyped.
It's been a long summer, dude. It's been a long summer.
Dude, Chris is super hyped. Wow. All right.
I expected this thing to be like burning in flames, but okay, it just showed up on my YouTube preview window, and it actually doesn't look terrible.
It really doesn't.
It looks really good.
Nice.
Looks nice.
Send my
Looks
paycheck in
nice.
the mail, please. I'm kidding. Actually, yes, before we go any further,
I
thanks
deserve
to
part of
Trevor.
that.
Yeah, because Trevor did it. He nailed it.
Yeah.
Most of it, but yeah. So,
Shouts out.
Welcome back, everybody. We are gonna. Oh, hey, yeah. Actually, Austin, your name is.
I was literally. Oh, yeah, I know. I purposely did that, and I was like, wow. Okay, cool. We'll go with it.
Well, okay. That's weird because it shows up as Austin in our thing, but.
That's awesome. I was hoping that would work.
Big.
Okay.
All
right.
Welcome, Austin. Take it away.
What's up, guys? It's been over what 6 weeks, 7 week break, I think.
It's been a while.
Too long.
Yeah, been a long time. Obviously, as we kind of ranted in the beginning. Special thanks to Chris and Trev for coming up with this awesome layout and getting everything set up literally on the front end and on the back end. Because if I'm being honest, me, Jared, Tom, and Matt have essentially just not existed as far as like how putting all this together went, and they took it upon themselves, and they got on it. Because I had originally was like talking to Chris on the phone like a week ago, and I was like, hey, I think we should just use Hangouts for season 4. He's like, oh yeah, sounds good. And he's like, oh wait, no, we have it, we're ready. I'm like, okay.
Yeah. Well, we tried.
Well, on that note, I really got to extend credit to Trevor on this one, because he's like, we got to nail this, guys. We got to nail this. And I'm like, well, Matt and I, we're in Chicago soon, and we're not. Trevor's just like, nope, we're doing this. We are doing this
now.
Yeah.
So
Trevor's pretty passionate.
I kind of got obsessed with it, but it worked out in the end, so I'm satisfied.
That's fantastic. Shout out to everyone in chat: Star Wars Studio 100, Awesome Pants Films, Darth Droid 1, Laney Stop Motion Studios. I feel like I said Lunar Octopus already. Silly Penta, X Sims, Sebastian, my man. What is up, everybody? It is so good to hang out with you guys again. This is pretty much going to be probably the chillest episode of the season, as it is the first, and we all really haven't spent a lot of time with each other over the break, which I think was actually kind of a good thing. We all were doing our separate things. Trev was out of the country for a bit, and Brick World happened, which we will get to right after this, and I was doing things, and you guys know Scorch Bricks. He's just out. He's just out doing Tom things and not being here.
He's out being a Brit. That's all he's
Yeah,
doing.
literally out being a Brit. But shouts out to Tom, my boy. I hope to have him back here in a week or two. But guys, biggest convention in the U.S. as far as North America goes, North America, U.S. Same freaking thing. I'm gonna try really hard to not swear on the show anymore, so bear with me.
Good luck.
But Brick World Chicago just happened a few weeks ago, and Chris and Matt got to meet up in person. So I'm gonna let them talk about the convention and how their time went.
All right, Matt, you want to start off, or?
All right. So, for those that don't know, the weekend of June 16th and 17th was Brick World Chicago. I'm not sure it's officially the largest LEGO convention in North America, but in my opinion, it is hands down the best one to go to if you want to go to a LEGO convention. Sorry, Brick Fair guys. I got to say we got you on this one.
It's not true.
Yeah, it is absolutely huge. It's hosted at the Schaumburg Renaissance Hotel and Convention Center in Schaumburg, Illinois, Chicago suburb, obviously. And I was able to help make arrangements for Chris to make it out here. Austin was supposed to make it. Unfortunately, at the last minute, he had some medical issues come up with his jaw or something like that. and it sounded very painful. So wish him well, guys.
It was very painful.
Yeah, I was in the same boat, so.
We did miss you there, Austin. But for those of us on the podcast who were not able to make it, I did get you guys. You may have seen custom engraved bricks for the podcast for our eventual meetup at Brick Fair 2020.
Indeed.
Or if it happens sometime sooner, you'll have.
I can't wait to.
It is awesome.
I can't wait to.
For those that haven't seen that, you can check it out on my Instagram. I posted all kinds of pictures from the convention. I know Chris just uploaded a vlog today.
So good.
Be sure to check that out.
Yep, that
for
was
those of you
one, more parts to come, and I will be showing that brick because it's a very nice brick.
Yeah, for those of you that don't know, I actually got to display with Rebelugh this year, and on Saturday at the meeting that was held at the convention, I actually got in to the lug, which is pretty awesome. Because that's not something I would have expected as a brick filmer, a relatively unknown person in the broader LEGO community, so to speak. So that's awesome. Get hyped for that because that's glass ceiling shattered. But so that's awesome. For those interested in getting into lugs like that, my best advice to you guys would be to get to know the guys, because I swear these guys from Rebelugh, nicest group of guys ever. Just cool dudes. People from ages all the way to from 16 to 22. I'm the grandpa in the group. In spite of the age differences, we all get along just great. It's awesome.
A few things can describe the feeling of being in a room with a whole bunch of LEGO fans who, over your age, under your age, at your age, and you're all just talking about LEGO, like one of the greatest things on the planet. So,
1 sec, Chris.
Yes.
Chris, you are actually cutting out.
Yeah, a little bit.
Why? How dare you?
I wonder if it's. Still. It's gotta be that keyboard still. I don't know what that is. That's really bizarre though.
Okay, no typing. I'm just not gonna type. Or if I type, then I'll just not talk. But yeah, basically to add on what Matt was saying, it's just awesome hanging out with a whole bunch of LEGO fans in one room and all talking LEGO. Like some of the things we were saying to each other were completely awesome. It's like, I envision using this piece for this thing, and they weren't just like some normie going, those round pieces that kind of look like donuts or whatever. We're saying, no, a 4x4 round brick. I want to use that. So basically, too long didn't read. We talked like nerds. It was great.
Yeah. The convention really is, it's spectacular getting to see all of the creations on display. But really, I think the best part about the convention has to be the sense of community there. Because, again, I just said, I met, the most awesome people there. I got to meet my buddy John Klapeek. I got to meet Chris. I got to meet a bunch of people from Rebelugh, Danny at Lego Buff Productions, Spencer, Lego Spencer. I got to meet Lee from Brick Builder Studios. I think that's his name. I'm not positive.
I'm still blank on names.
Bryce from Brick Build Replicas. Yeah, tons and tons of really great guys. So, definitely, go to the Rebelugh website, check out all those guys. They're not animators, but their work is still fantastic and can provide a lot of inspiration. I know it certainly has for me. I got a lot of stuff planned for the coming year because now I will hopefully be taking part in collaborations now that I am actually part of the group. So look forward to some of that stuff. Let's see what else? There's so much to say about the convention. Really, I could go on all day about it.
One thing I would like to quickly throw on, because you mentioned the community aspect of it. There's some efforts going on right now to figure out how to get more brick filling presence at these conventions. So,
yes.
Trevor, you mind if I, drop this little tidbit off? You know what I'm talking about?
I figured you were gonna go there.
Yeah, I kind of need to because this is big. I was so hyped the entire weekend. So,
this. By the way, for context, I was out of the country when this was happening. So I kind of knew about it, but at the same time, I got back and I had completely forgotten about it. So yeah, but take it away, Chris.
All right. So when we went to when I went to Brick World, I was also trying to figure out the brick filmer presence there, because one thing we talked about on Freakerback is doing exhibitions in the U.S. like they do over in France. And so I kind of showed up with the idea of, okay, how could we pull this kind of thing off? And so I met with a whole bunch of different brick filmers. Like I met with Matt, met with D. Tenaglia, I met with Our Toy World. He does a little bit of brick filming. Whole bunch of guys. And I also met David Pickett, who helps run the film festival at Brick World Chicago. And so we were talking. It was a lot of fun. It was a blast. And I went to go see the films at the film festival. And, okay, I'm just going to nerd out. It's so much fun watching your friends' films on the big screen. Like, now it's no longer on my phone. Now it's no longer on my monitor. It's, like, on a projector in this room with, like, 60 other people. It was pretty darn fun. And we were allowed to vote for our favorites who would win some awards. And I guess I should just disclose now. I voted for Trev because I really wanted Trev to win. And Trevor came in 3rd place at the Brick World Chicago Brick Film Festival. It's a mouthful. That's the name.
The internet.
Congrats, man.
Yeah, somehow that happened.
Well deserved.
Somehow that happened. Yeah. Dude, everyone loved your film. Like, yours is one of the few films I noticed where people were laughing a lot during its runtime.
Don't make me cry. It's so cool.
You're gonna ugly cry by the time this is done.
Please don't cry.
Yeah.
I don't want
that. And, let's be honest. I can only watch Digital
together.
Wizards Jurassic Disney World so many times before I snap. So that definitely helped with the voting aspect there, I think.
Yeah, I got snubbed. I'm gonna say it. I got snubbed by freaking Charut versus everything.
Yeah.
Trev,
I understand.
Awesome,
I understand why
love that brick
won.
film. So
Not so awesome.
Yeah, I like it a lot too. I don't know, just the whole like. I understand that it was a what is it, an attendee vote. Just I wish more people had kept in mind the theme. But
yeah,
whatever.
the theme was pretty loose. In the mocks, the theme was absolutely present. You could really tell. In the brick films,
yeah, there were a lot of interesting ones. Yeah, no, one guy actually had like some kind of diorama display where basically, like each day, starting on Thursday and then going all the way into Sunday, he would actually like change parts of the display to reflect the seasons. So he had spring, summer, fall, and winter, and like from summer to fall, like one day the trees would be green, the next day they'd be orange, red, and yellow.
Which was pretty darn.
So it's really neat. Oh, I'd like to see people taking that to heart.
Yep, and that would have been fun with the brick films. That being said, one thing I do want to point out is the brick filming judging was divided in 2 parts: international attendees and convention attendees. And the convention attendees, there weren't very many brick filmers. And honestly, I'd like to see this change. Now, granted, this means my odds of winning next year are going to be drastically reduced by getting more people to join. But if you show up and you're an attendee and you show your brick film, and if you have a lot of people there to support you in the audience, friends, family, etc., you do actually have a pretty good chance of getting the popular vote. Now, it might sound like I'm telling you how to rig the contest. That's not the intent. But show up! Submit a brick film. It'd be awesome, because we really want to see, more of that aspect. Let's talk about
then it kind of becomes a contest.
So much we can do.
For brick filmers, by brick filmers, the winners of which were rated by brick filmers. So.
Yep. Mm-hmm. And overall, it was a really cool event. I know Thistoff Winter Olympic Games won 2nd place. So that was awesome.
I was okay with losing to that one.
Well, to be fair, he pretty much had a corner market on the season theme there.
Yeah.
That's true.
Very true.
Great.
It's in the title.
But yeah, so all of you in the audience, next year, submit a film. This would be, it'll be great. I want to see more of your stuff. It's a lot of fun watching on the projector.
Yeah, absolutely. And what I think would also be really cool is, some kind of group display on, the event hall floor, actually. Because...
I'm really working on that.
So for those who haven't seen, what the display looked like, again, basically everybody from Rebelugh and also people who were displaying with Rebelugh who were not actually in the group, basically we had a kind of a ring of tables or a rectangle of tables. And basically that was our group display. Everyone had, like 1, 2, 3, or 4 table sections to themselves, and they kind of had their own section. And I actually ended up moving from one area to another because what was supposed to be kind of a large display was Lee's Theed Palace that he's been constructing. I don't know if anybody's seen that. It looks really cool, but it got absolutely obliterated in transit. Yeah, he sent a rush delivery on an airplane. Not a good idea. Not a good idea. So basically, I ended up swapping places with him because they needed, somebody with something substantial at the front of the table. And so I had all of the mocks that you can see on Instagram, as well as, more importantly, a monitor with 0 Hour playing on a loop.
Yeah, when does 0 Hour come out?
Oh.
Oh my God! Beat a dead horse a little more, why don't you?
Yeah, it's my specialty. I threw in Sound of Silence at that part in the vlog.
But yeah, so it's really cool because a lot of people stopped and just stood to watch the whole thing in person, and it's really cool to see people react live to watching a thing that you made. So to be able to do that on a larger scale, say instead of one monitor, we have a dozen, and a dozen brick filmers all displaying in the same group. That's really cool. And what's also really cool is that you don't have to just display with one group. You can display with as many as you like. So, I can be, like my buddy John, for example, he displayed a bit with Rebelugh, a bit with a Novalugh, and a bit with Orphan Lug as well, which is kind of a conglomeration of, people who don't normally have a lug home, or, their creations might not fit with somebody else's group display.
Which, to be honest, that's the saddest name ever. I love those guys, but every time I walk by their table, I expect In the Arms of an Angel to be playing.
But yeah, so if you're already somebody who might be interested in displaying at Brick World, just like your stuff, your mocks, you could totally, we could totally have that split between like, okay, you got your mocks over here, and then everybody over here just has monitors with with brick films running, and other brick filming related paraphernalia maybe. I know Chris had talked about maybe some kind of instructional pamphlets or something like that on how to brick film.
Yeah, we got an idea in the works at Freakerback. I was looking at Rebelugh because that was honestly my favorite group display there. Just watching everyone hanging out and all getting to know each other and displaying some awesome stuff. That's kind of my prototype, what I'd like to do for a Freakerback table of some sort. So everyone shows up, they could put some brick film sets, maybe a monitor with some brick films running, maybe like a little section where, people during the public hours can make a brick film with just some spare bricks or something. Got a whole host of ideas. I've been throwing them on chat. Maxu tells me that it's the middle of the night and I need to stop talking. I'm kidding. But we're working on ideas there, and I definitely want to do some of the stuff you're saying, Matt. So let's lead the charge.
Yeah,
so
absolutely.
I actually, I don't mean to interrupt and get in the middle of that.
Continue.
I actually, this week, last Monday and this Monday, I actually did a bit of a workshop at my local library where I showed some kids how to animate. So I brought in a bunch of cars and I had them push cars around. And then Monday, when I do the second part of it, I'm going to show them how to do a walk cycle. But I showed them a couple films that I've made. I've shown them a couple films that...
You better show them how to do it right, or I will end you.
Austin, you know what you need to do, Austin?
Okay. I figured that was coming.
Austin, you need to, lay out the perfect walk cycle. Just do it and have reference pictures, give them to Trevor, and tell those kids what's up.
I
will do that. I'll have something for you.
Yeah, and that's the really cool thing. One thing that's important to consider, with conventions is, everybody walks out of there with some kind of goodie bag. A bag full of business cards, which, allows you to, kind of advertise yourself a little bit. I know Brick Fair, Virginia is not a fan of business cards, so be careful with that.
Yes.
Yeah,
Okay,
although I have heard they've become a little bit more relaxed in recent years, which is good to hear. But it's nice to be able to to send people home with with something to kind of reflect on after it's over, because there's so much going on in the moment at these conventions. Everybody's busy. There's stuff going on all over the place. It's a lot to take in. So it's nice to be able to look at what you brought home and just like, oh yeah, that's right, I picked up this, and this, and okay, I got 12 channels to subscribe to now. And, this, again, say you had a pamphlet, how to do the perfect walk cycle. Boom. It gets people interested. And I think what the important thing, because at these conventions, Lego sponsors them, I think, to some degree, simply because they grow and promote the hobby. And what people see, is hopefully they see something and they're like, oh wow, you know what? I bet I could do that. And that's what we want to, if we want to, to promote brick filming at a convention like this, is to leave people with that impression. So I think that's an excellent way to go.
Yeah, well, actually, funny that you mentioned that. I think Lego is actually sponsoring or contributing to Brick Fair Virginia this year directly. I know last year they kind of like distantly were like, yeah, we support this, but we're not going to like say we're readily involved with you. But this year they're actually going to have, I think, a Lego store, like storefront at the vendor section.
Oh yeah, so they actually, they had one at Brick World this year.
Yeah,
the Legoland Discovery Center, and there was a mad rush because this guy Nick O'Donnell from Cincy Lug, he tipped me off, me and Elijah Peachbricks. He tipped us off to the fact that they were selling Scarif Trooper poly bags for $250 a piece at the Legoland Discovery Center booth at the convention.
The line.
And word got around rather quickly, and people just descended on them. It's crazy ridiculous. Like all of this stuff you guys can kind of watch. I know Ryan over at M&R Productions has been creating some awesome vlogs of the convention and just kind of following Rebelugh around. So yeah, definitely check those out because it kind of gives you a taste, as far as what actually kind of goes on, personally speaking. As far as, what everybody does at the convention, going out for, lunch and dinner and stuff like that, other stuff. I know us, the guys from Rebelugh, we actually went bowling. We did a couple other stuff. We went to Feed My Starving Children. That's a nonprofit that packs meals for hungry children overseas.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yep. And
cool.
Yeah, so there's tons of awesome stuff to do, and again, cannot recommend joining a lug enough because that really puts you in touch with some really cool people. Lugs are all over the place. There are some that are online based like Rebelugh and Innovalug, and then you have like Shy Lug, which is based out of Chicago. That's local right here. There are lugs all over the place. If you live in a major city, you probably have one near you, if not in your state somewhere.
And if you live in Montana, find me. There are no lugs here.
Okay, yes. Yeah, Montana's kind of out in the middle of nowhere, so I can understand.
It's like every state has a lug, and then there's Montana. Actually, no, Idaho does have a lug. Dang it! Never mind. Whatever.
Well, yeah, 2 years, finish your masters. Go join them.
I'll go find a lug.
Lugs are not just for builders, and I think me actually getting to Rebelugh kind of proves that in a way because they're called Lego users groups for a reason. Anyone who uses Lego is eligible to join these. And another thing to note is that Lego does support a lot of lugs that are actually registered with what's called the Lego Ambassador Network,
which is a big deal.
And yeah, they do get some stuff like they get to there's lug bulk. You get to buy Lego wholesale at a bit of a cheaper price. Very limited in that respect, but that's one of the cool things you get to do. So really cool stuff. Would definitely recommend joining a lug.
Mm-hmm. And speaking of lugs, I guess we can kind of transition into where I was going to kind of take the conversation from here. So as you all know, I don't know. It was a really bad transition. As you all know, Brick Fair Virginia.
Pack your bags.
I know. Brick Fair Virginia is coming up the first weekend of August, and I'm pulling up the dates. That's the 4th through the 5th for the public attendees. But the actual event for people that are registering for it goes on the 1st through the 5th. So I believe, as far as I know, from the podcast, myself, Matt, tentatively, and Austin, I believe, I'll throw him in there just because he's kind of part of this, but Marcus, Mr. Foon, should be present there as well. So we're still working out details as to whether or not we're going to set up a table. Because we might try and showcase some of our films, put them up on a monitor, like Matt was talking about how they did that at Brick Fair or Brick World.
If you want to do that, you better jump on that quickly. Might run out of space.
Yeah, so we're working out all the details soon. Hopefully, we're gonna have a plan eventually at Austin.
Like if you set up a table, if you set up a monitor in the corner of one of those plastic lawn chairs, people are gonna think you don't belong there. So that's a problem. Watch my films. Mommy, look at that guy in his monitor. Don't look, sweetie. Anyways, continue. Now that I've crushed your hopes and dreams.
Yeah. Oh, you know what? Yeah. Forgive me if we're not ready to talk about this yet, but I know TPF right now, the Plastic Fist, is going through kind of a rebrand and name change right now.
Good, because I was about to correct you.
Yeah. knowing that that's happening, and having talked about lugs, I think it would be really cool if TPF could be kind of turned into something along those lines, and then we could start having group displays with TPF at some of these conventions.
I would give my life for that.
That or maybe Brickback. Again, Brickback being international makes things a little bit difficult for those of us living in the United States.
Well, see, Brickback is registered as a recognized LEGO online community in Arlock. Hey, let me quickly grab my badge here, because when I was registering,
he said recognized LEGO fan media. That is basically the kind of the catch-all name for groups that LEGO not really sponsors but recognizes as official, and does generally give some support to.
Okay, here we go. Yeah, I was just checking my lanyard here. So we are a recognized LEGO fan media, but we're also known as a recognized LEGO online community. Which, on that note, for an example, all of our Brickback contests where we have LEGO prizes that we hand out, those are given to us by LEGO. So they sponsor us in that sense. They give us prizes.
I can confirm.
Yep, Trevor can confirm. He took my fish ship in a bottle right out from under my nose.
It was actually, it was just to make the blow hurt even more. I don't know if everyone knows this, but it was actually signed by the designer. So
oh, come on!
Wow.
Trevor, I hate you. Anyways.
Tiago, my man. Shout out to you, dude.
Something to keep in mind, about lugs is that not all groups that identify as a LEGO users group are officially recognized by LEGO. In fact, a lot of them were recently found to be abusing the privileges granted to them by LEGO, and so they were basically unregistered by the LEGO group, and now they will have to probably seek recognition again.
I have to clean things up.
And that includes
check the LEGO Ambassador Network, because
as well.
That's where it's at.
Oh yeah, and so it just showed up in chat just a second ago. I'm going to outline this now just because it's on my brain. But Lunar Octopus here was asking if he donated to Streamlabs, if it would show up in the super chat. We don't, I believe Chris, we don't have it set up.
We don't have it set up quite yet, but we are working on it. Speaking of recognition,
hold your money.
Yeah, we appreciate your generosity, but hold your generosity until
not just yet
worked out. Yeah,
not just yet.
We'll probably do a test donation.
Hold your money. Hold your money.
Yep. Yeah. You know what? Save your money for Brick World and for Brick Fair, okay?
Yeah, I mean, donations are not required. They're not required whatsoever. They're graciously accepted, but we don't want to advertise that we want money. But so.
I would say it does help though, because that kind of thing allows us to more easily make decisions like getting those brick badges engraved.
Get some shirts.
They were not free, unfortunately.
That's right. That's right, Jared. Jared, I approve.
Yes. But yeah, those are the sorts of details that trying to work on the worst segue possible. These are the sorts of details that you work out when you're dealing with LEGO groups at LEGO conventions. I hate myself for saying that.
Well,
shoestring and bubblegum segue. Goodness gracious.
Literally.
But you are
saying, the best at segues.
You were saying, Chris, with respect to TPF.
Yeah, so with respect to TPF, doing it as an R-Lock might work, but the idea of an online lug and seeing how Rebelugh operated really got the gears turning in my mind. We discussed this a couple times on TPF, just kind of out of the blue, but we brought it up again with the rebrand, trying to find ways to establish our presence. And we're seriously looking into it. There's a lot of different things that we're trying to line up.
If I'm not mistaken, I think that at least 2 convention displays. Last I checked, I think was one of the requirements for being an R-Lug.
I don't think it would be very hard to get someone from a couple people from TPF over to Chicago again. For one thing,
I think in total you need at least 20 people over the course of a year who are involved in something like that.
My God,
that's a lot.
Wow.
Yeah, Rebelugh has 35 members
or can
internationally.
It be like, I contributed the graphics, for instance, but I didn't show up.
That's hilarious.
That being said, what the point of that is again, if Lego's going to give you in your lug benefits, they have to do it for a reason. So they want to see you promoting their toys in some way.
That is
I don't know if having an online YouTube constitutes that.
Yeah.
It doesn't. The good thing is, though,
here's what we do.
There's a lot of bleed over between TPF, Freakerback, Bricks in Motion. There's a whole lot of bleed over. So I don't think it'd be really that hard to say, hey, Freakerback guys, you might help out TPF for a little bit. Hey, TPF might help out Freakerback for a little bit. Hey, Rebelugh, any of you who started brick filming, now that Matt is now a brick filming Rebelugh person, hey, you want to help us out for a bit? So I don't think it would be too difficult to make that happen.
Here's what we do. We reach out to Jang Bricks since he explicitly reviews Lego.
Get out.
Bam.
Please get out.
There we go.
And
We just reach out to some reviewer. And
He actually doesn't take free stuff, if I'm not mistaken.
He does not.
He doesn't, as far as I'm aware.
Jang is the
he
man.
definitely gets. He
I'm moral
definitely.
fortitude in that guy.
He definitely what's the word? Is good at promoting the brand. It's literally what he does for a living. So.
That's true.
Man, how do I land that kind of job?
I know, right? Just gotta stick it out for 6 years on YouTube, and you're golden.
Yep. I gotta make more. Was it Lego Ninjago funny gym prank fail videos?
Me and Matt have been on YouTube for 10 years now, Matt.
Yeah, me since 2009. I forget what year you joined. Yeah, 2009.
Yeah.
Oh god.
It's gonna be 10. It's gonna be 10 years next May for me. Wow.
Next September. Yeah.
That's
10
incredible.
years of Bricktail.
I expect an anniversary video.
I expect the Great Potato Heist Train Edition.
Yes!
Soon.
Oh man, I'm working on that right now. I'm working on that. I'm pulling together some train stuff. One of the coolest things about Brickworld was actually the day after on Monday. Me and a couple of the leftover guys from Rebelugh who hadn't flown out back to their respective states yet. We went first to Bricks and Minifigs. That's a Lego resale store that basically sells repackaged used sets as well as sets still in box for relatively decent prices, compared to some of the scalping you see at conventions. As well as just bulk Lego. You get to fill up bags like a Pick-a-Brick cup. I think I've mentioned this before, but it's a great place to shop. Especially the one in Crest Hill in Chicago. Fantastic guy owns that. I really like him. But we went there, and then afterwards, this was the cool part. So it was Storage Wars Lego Edition because
that's awesome.
Danny, Lego Buck Productions, he apparently he knows a guy from his high school who was employed by some guy who used to have a storefront selling bulk Lego. But I think he just quit the business, and now he's got it all in storage lockers. But he's still trying to sell off what he can. So basically, we drove out to St. Charles, Illinois, where he's at, and took a look at this locker. And basically, it was, they said, go ahead, have a look around, take a look at stuff, name a price, and maybe we could work something out. And that's pretty much what it was. A couple of us, went in and pulled stuff. I know Danny bought some base plates. I bought it had to be at least $500 worth of stuff, mostly trains, train wheels, train motors, big and little ugly rock pieces. Sheesh, what else? Some dude's Pick-a-Brick cups that he never opened.
That's awesome.
Yeah, just a ton of sand green in various colors.
Oh, sand green too. Come on.
Yeah, really cool stuff.
This is a level of not okay?
And then just kind of just a random assortment of other parts I found useful, like dark bluish gray slopes, just tossed them in there. And then, I'm just all right, $75 for the, for everything but the Pab cups. The Pab cups I'll give you $25 for. And actually got them down to $95. So $95 for $500 worth of stuff, at least as far as its resale value would be on the secondary market, like Bricklink.
That is a great
literally
deal.
Hate you.
So and then I know Lego Spencer, he got some really old 12-volt train stuff as well.
Are you kidding me?
Yeah, he got a whole bunch of track.
Well
Track.
then, isn't he special? Aren't you special? Aren't you all special?
Yeah, you
Chris
guys can
is
take
so
a look at the
salty.
haul on
So
Instagram.
salty.
It should be on. I took Lego Spencer took pictures. I have some of them on my Instagram. He has all of them on his. I think they might be on the
Sounds
Rebelugh
good
Instagram as well. But yeah, definitely check that out because that was just a really all-around cool experience. It makes for a great story.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's moments like those that that's what makes these experiences with other people, you know, in the community like really memorable. I will not forget that.
It's moments like these that make the sweeping plains of Montana feel so lifeless and empty. After this podcast stuff, I'm just gonna go cry for a bit, okay?
At least it's quiet when you want it to be, I guess.
It was quiet at the hotel over here. It's not quiet. You got all the freshmen running around being like, "We're freshmen."
yeah.
I'm
Hotel
like,
was
"Shut
really
up.
nice,
Go break
wasn't it?
home." Huh? Sorry, was it?
Hotel was really nice,
man,
wasn't
the
it?
hotel was great. I
Yeah,
can't thank you enough for helping me set that up because that was fantastic.
Yeah, I think Renaissance Schaumburg is at like the top of like the Marriott chain. I think that's like their high-end brand. So it's a really nice hotel, but there, you know, if you can't afford a hotel like that, I mean, by all means, there's tons of hotels in that area. I know. A bunch of guys from Rebelugh stayed at the Wyndham. That was kind of cheaper on the cheaper side. You know, it's good if you want to get in and get out on the cheap.
You know, if you want to sleep under one of the tables at the convention, you might be able to pull that off.
Yeah, as far as
Don't do that.
price for getting to these conventions, you know, you can work out ways to whittle it down. You know, if you stay at a cheaper hotel, you know, if you take Ubers everywhere instead of getting a rental car, you know, usually if you go to a convention and you're displaying with a group, chances are somebody actually lives in the area. For us, that was me and Danny. I think Gabe had a car too, and so did D. Tenaglia. Also really cool dude, met him. But yeah, you know, we were just the wheelmen, and we drove everybody around to meals and stuff, and it all just kind of works out.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I managed to fit a total of 5 people into my Mustang. That's a lot for a coupe.
Yeah, but
That is
that's
very-
a nice Mustang. Like you weren't exaggerating.
That's a tight back seat.
Yeah, definitely.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Indeed.
All right,
Fun times.
so from there, I guess the rest of us, we can talk about like brick filming stuff that we've been doing, are doing, planning on
Nope.
doing, stuff like that. Okay, fine.
The salty
I'll
brick film
kick it
report
off.
starring Trevor.
I'll start it off.
Let's go.
Theta Squad. Theta
Yes.
Squad.
Yes.
All right.
For those of you guys who keep up with me, like on Instagram, you've seen a lot of these images from, not necessarily from Data Squad. You've seen a lot of like promotional photos, but like Matt is kind of like my second in command when it comes to like producing films like this. He's doing all of the CGI and is doing a voice of one of the characters. So is Jared, actually.
Yeah, I've also been
Yeah.
advising you quite a bit on it too,
Yeah.
as far as like things kind of fit into the Star Wars canon.
It's certainly
Yeah,
a group
and-
effort.
Side note, Jared commented on my update video. What did you not? I literally
Oh.
saw that comment and then snapped him immediately, being like, "Can you voice?" Because I literally I needed one more commando role filled, and I was like, "Who am I
Yes.
gonna get to do this?" And
Yes.
then Jared commented, I'm like, "Oh, all right, that's easy."
That's convenient.
Yeah, the voice of
Yes.
God
Yeah.
behind Morgan Freeman.
Yeah,
Oh
but right.
God.
But no, Theta Squad is going to be around an 8 to 10 minute film, and before you're like, oh, are you gonna guns of Cordis us with this film? I'm like, no, I'm not.
That's a verb now.
Yeah, it's a verb.
This is
Guns
like
of
60%
Cordis.
done, and it's only been a couple weeks. So
Yeah, we were about
be a
five
thing.
and a half minutes.
I'm getting
completion.
saltier. I'm getting so jealous. I hate all of this. Why did I come back?
Yeah, like so 5.5 minutes has been animated, and a majority of it has already been pre-edited. Matt has seen the first 5 minutes of the raw footage. And I have to say, or I want to emphasis this, or put an emphasis on this. Cannot speak. This is not an action-heavy Republic Commando film. This is based on a lot of lies, deception, and dead children.
As long as it isn't trade secrets like Phantom Menace,
Dead
I'm
children.
fine.
there will be a tad bit of controversy.
Yeah, so I would advise.
Austin controversy? What are you talking about, dude? That's unheard of.
Austin's like the Rian Johnson of Star Wars brick filming.
Oh my gosh.
Okay, here's
Let's be
another
real
controversy. You just said Rian. Oh yeah. Oh my gosh.
That's how everyone's been saying it, Trevor.
Well, not me.
Not so much controversy as in like directly like being controversial, but like it definitely is one of those movies where it's like, okay,
it's heavier source material.
Yeah. It's very dialogue heavy. You guys know me. I love my dialogue.
It's called Theta Squad Grey Republic for a reason. Emphasis on Grey Republic kind of.
Oh, title reveal.
Term there.
Title reveal.
You just revealed the damn title on.
Did I? Oh my god! I thought that was in the teaser.
Hey, it's alright. You guys are still following the 50-79
leak.
Oh man!
Wait.
Oops.
No. It's fine because I just forgot. I posted a picture, like a teaser poster on Instagram a few days ago.
Yeah, I swear you posted. You went public with that. So I'm good, guys. I'm good.
You guys are still following
not the leaker.
Hashtag
not the leaker.
It's fine.
Yes. Leak.
But like, there's a lot of, if you have followed the Lego Star Wars or Lego Clone Wars as we would call it back in the 2009 days, if you followed people who made Lego Clone Wars animations back then, like Pizza Movies, Gareth, Spogastew, even Matt, Supreme Delic Dunn, Fire Guy 789, Bionicle 28, Fliplet, all of those people that I just mentioned, there is a Easter egg from calling back to everyone's work. So just to explain it a little bit, because I want to let Trev get his time in before we wrap up. But like, Gareth, the creator of Squad 42 and his amazing film that came out as another installment of said series.
All hail.
All hail. He is actually voicing as Commander Edge for Theta Squad. So it is an extreme honor to have him aboard on the project. And like I said, Matt's doing CGI, also voicing as one of the Republic officers. And it's gonna be sick. I cannot wait for you all to see it. Trailer comes out July 4th, Independence Day. There's a reason why it's coming out Independence Day. But no, not the Purge. I'll give it to Trev because I hate to cut this short, but I have to step away. I will try to be back for the end to wrap up with you guys.
Sounds like a plan.
All right, take it away, Trev.
Yeah. So after all that jealousy, I don't know why, I feel like I'm just gonna keep getting more jealous as the day goes on. Yeah, I mean, I've just been slowly working away at Torment. I keep wanting to call it Ripped Away, even though I can't.
Ripped Away Part 2. Yeah.
Ripped Away 2 confirmed!
Go away.
Leak.
No. Yeah, but I've been slowly working on it. I actually got a good bit of stuff done this week. So yeah, we'll see where that goes. I think it's gonna be a tentative August release, I think, at this rate, like late August. It really just depends on how much I can get done before and after leaving for my 3-week-long excursion, being away at camp for 2 weeks and then going on vacation.
Which, on that note, Trevor, Sebastian wants me to remind you of the voice acting work he needs.
I know, it's gonna happen. It's gonna happen again. I have a couple voice acting requests that I gotta get done this weekend. But yeah, I mean, it kind of stunk because I was away in Costa Rica for a week. I mean, that didn't stink, but like I wasn't able to animate at all, or do anything for that matter. And then this week I got my wisdom teeth pulled. So yeah, I've been suffering through that, but it's kind of given me a bit of a drive. It's been a bit of a drive to work on stuff. So
yeah,
since I haven't
you and Austin
had a
both
reason
with the
to do
wisdom
anything.
teeth.
I know, yeah. It's like he complains about it. I'm like, I'm right there with you, dude.
It used to be so wise, and they got pulled out. Shame.
They pulled out a little more of that from more than that from Austin. He lost like a third of his jaw, I think.
Oh my gosh.
Of course, they filled it back in, obviously.
Right. Yeah.
But yeah.
Yeah, but yeah, it's just been slow and steady. I've been trying to get stuff done. I'm gonna probably work on more of it tonight. Yeah. I remembered there was the Q&A video. I was gonna start working on that before I got the wisdom teeth pulled because I knew after it for a couple days I wasn't gonna be able to film anything for it. But I think this weekend I'm gonna get to filming that and hopefully having that done before I leave for my trip. So, yeah.
Yeah. Nice.
Well, so that'll hopefully that should be done before the 8th of July, I think.
Yep.
And
you need to finish Torment, man.
And then a tentative release date on Torment for August is what's in the works right now.
Yep.
Sweet.
Torment,
yeah. Also, with Brick Fair, yeah, like I said earlier, I think it's Matt, Austin, and I. We're all gonna be there, so we're gonna kind of advertise that. If you see any of us there and at the convention, feel free to come up, say hi.
Yep. If I am there, I will be at the Rebelugh display.
Yeah. He's gonna be off in his own world while Austin and I aimlessly wander around.
Nah. You guys are with us. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm actually pretty surprised about how easily Rebelugh just like, yeah, you're a temporary Rebelugh guy today. We'll fill out the paperwork later. I'm just like, I can pretend I'm Rebelugh.
Yeah, but yeah, we probably won't be streaming that weekend. I don't know if Chris wants to just do a solo job with or him and Jared want to do their own thing, but we'll
live
cross
from
that road.
Virginia.
Yeah, we're just gonna stream from the convention. Lol.
Yep.
Yeah, I don't know if anyone else wants to take up the reins and talk about their brick filming stuff. Feel free.
I do want to advertise one thing. Me and Tom at Scorch Bricks have a podcast called Behind the Bricks.
It's lame. Don't watch it.
It's the best ever.
I posted the link to the playlist. We're about 5 episodes in.
Wow.
And we got 4 more to go till the end of the season. So go check it out.
Actually, that reminded me. I have another thing I have to advertise. This is dealing with the podcast now. So for this season, we kind of don't really know what we're going to be talking about. We're okay with revisiting some older subjects that we've talked about, like lighting, set building, script writing, just like story building, a lot of different things. But we wanted to get some feedback from you guys on if there were any topics you wanted us to explicitly outline during season 4. So when I can find it, here it is. I'm gonna post the link right now in chat, and yeah, it's simply just a Google form that is asking for suggestions for topics that we can outline for the podcast this season. So if you guys have any subject you explicitly want us to talk about, feel free, go ahead and comment. And yeah.
Indeed. Awesome stuff. Jared's typing up a storm.
I know.
Yep, there we go. It's a storm. Yep.
It's a little correspondence with Tom, who is at the pub right now having a jolly old time in jolly old England.
Yep, funny enough.
Shout out to you, man.
The podcast.
I feel like these last 11 minutes we should talk about one of the biggest brick films to come out.
We should, considering we said we were.
Why you're ripping these? You're ripping these words out of my mouth. God.
The Cleaners. How about that?
I thought we were talking about 0 Hour.
Oh, it didn't come out yet.
Oh God!
I thought we were talking about Bob and Randy episode 3, which is still missing. Let's make a big deal out of it, everybody. Click, go dislike all the.
Torment, Torment stuff.
Ripped Away 2. Ripped Away 2.
Those don't exist.
Oh, hey, I Ripped Away 3. Want the trilogy? Remember?
Okay. There's a potential for a sequel. There is no trilogy. That is not going to happen. I'm just going to shut that down right now.
See, kids, this is how you deflect an awkward situation. They say, "Where's Bob and Randy?" You say, "Ripped away trilogy."
Okay, yeah.
All right, so
yeah, Cleaners came out. That was a thing.
Yes, well done, Mr. Macias. Well done.
Yeah,
really good animation.
And Mr. Wells, we can't exclude. We can't discriminate. I know there's some unrest, but you know.
Oh no, Nathan Wells is great, but I'm still trying to figure out what. Yes, I know. Zach did the animation, if I recall correctly.
They both did.
They both animated.
They split it.
Yeah.
Oh, because I see over on Zach's Instagram a whole lot of stuff for what you call it, the Cleaners, and then over on Nathan's, I didn't see anything involving animating any of the Cleaners.
They
well, I think
do they
they
live
both
in close proximity.
Probably a couple hours away from each other.
I'm 99% sure that Zach's main priority behind the project was all of the post-production editing.
Yeah.
So he's the one that had to do all of tracking and color correction and everything.
Yeah, they live streamed a lot of their animation and editing on Twitch a lot. I watched a couple of them. Yeah, and we think it's been like what, 3 years in the making. I think
2,
I believe
2.5. I would say at most, something like that.
Yeah, from what we had heard, it started off as a what was it, 48-hour challenge?
Yeah, and that went past, way past it.
From 2 days to 2 years.
Yeah, just a little. But I mean, yeah, critiquing the film, it's good. It's one of probably the most polished videos ever.
Yeah,
absolutely. Polished is a great word to describe it.
Films. Yeah. Yeah, it's like, I mean, the visuals are insanely good, and I can only imagine of having a camera that can capture footage that well.
It's the same camera,
I know. I can't rave enough about that. Like, basically, you know, this film was meant to pay homage to, you know, 70s, you know, crime films, and it absolutely nails this because, you know, like right away, without even being told, you can tell, okay, this is a couple decades into the past. You know, they're in this dumpy motel, and just by the way, like the light is streaming through the blinds there.
Yeah.
You know, you feel like you're on the West Coast in California, which I believe, which is exactly where it is, because I think later on they show a shot of like a license plate or something that does in fact reveal that they are in California.
It's it's the one from the DeLorean, and it's the California license plate from there.
Yeah.
That's a great piece.
And like, I think the thing for me is like the set building and like all the other accessories in there. I think it really sells it so much.
Oh yeah, it's absolutely gorgeous.
Like Nathan Wells is one of the best builders I think that I've seen in a while. Like set building wise,
you did a
like he's really good at. He did a really good job.
He's no Trevor Stevens, but you know, yeah, whatever.
Yeah, even you know even the exterior scenes, like it just looks like natural sunlight that is being cast against this building, and not only that, but it just feels like it's part of a larger landscape that you can't see, you know, outside of the view of the camera.
Indeed.
Totally agree.
And at the same time, chances are, all of this is some kind of facade. There's nothing behind that. And, you know, like right now I'm at like 1 minute, 28 seconds in, where the guy's looking out over the balcony, you know, down at the room. And I'm guessing that wasn't part of like, that's not all one piece. That's probably just, you know, again, another facade set up closer to the camera.
Like they didn't build the entire motel.
So seamless. Also, if you guys have missed it, that very same frame, you can see Zach's his sig fig.
Yeah, his
up
sig
in the top window.
I love that. It's just a creeper. Yeah, no, actually, so the way that was filmed, I remember I actually was watching that part of live streams. I don't think it was live, but like I had watched it. I had watched the video later. Yeah, so the ground was all done with bricks laid on their side. And they just simply laid it down at the angle that it's at to give the parking spaces an angle.
Yeah. Which, funny enough, is a technique I saw a lot of in Chicago.
Yeah, that's called snot. Studs not on top. Yeah.
Well, yeah.
It's very prolific nowadays, but to see a brick filmer using it, you know, really makes me happy to see that.
Indeed.
But yeah, it's like, yeah, then the motel was just, it was a facade. That's all it was. And then the part that angles off where the I'm just gonna call him the big boss dude. I don't know. That's where he's standing. That was like all built up a little bit. So it wasn't really more. It was more of like how Lego makes their models with the buildings. It's like they're shallow. But there is still, it's like a facade, but there is a bit of like a shallow interior to it. So, yeah. But, I mean, yeah, the sets are super polished. I mean, I love the details. Like, that's one thing that I like to strive for when I'm building sets and stuff, is just like throwing in little details. But usually my stuff consists of just like, you know, this takes place on like the streets of this dingy city. So here's a piece, like a 1x1 slope to represent a piece of trash. And then here's like a soda can that's been thrown on the ground over here. Like I besides like going into world building, besides that, I haven't really dove into that very extensively, but yeah.
It's hard. Depends on your collection quite a bit.
Mm-hmm.
Which, yeah, I don't know how much Lego they had on hand, but they managed to pull it off really well.
Oh, they had a lot. I mean, it's like, I think Nathan does.
Yeah, they had Nathan's collection.
Nathan's collection is pretty extensive.
Yeah, he's been building for years.
Yeah.
All right. Trevor, can I join the Jealous Club now?
Please.
All that Lego, all that set making ability. Let's make t-shirts, Trevor. The Jealous Club t-shirts.
I'm down. Let's do it.
Cool.
Yeah, and then I mean from there, I think all of us were talking about this earlier, but I think the only point of contention that we really have, the only downside to the film, was just the story was kind of lacking.
Oh, we're talking about the cleaners?
We sure are.
Yeah,
that's what I thought.
Yeah, the story, it's not lacking. I don't think that's the right word for it. It's just kind of confusing.
It's not confusing. It's underwhelming, I think.
Yeah, that's a good way. Well, really, what I found the most underwhelming about it was that 3 years and it was only 5 minutes.
Right.
That just kind of
stop
struck
motion.
me. Interesting.
It definitely, you know, see, here's what I took away from it, is that, you know, it left me wanting more, yet at the same time, what I did see of it, you know, you could clearly tell what they were going for. Again, you know, with, you know, this 70s crime film, you know, vibe. And again, they absolutely nailed it. You know, as far as the, you know, the pacing goes, you know, literally it just feels like, you know, you could see these movies like, you know, if you've been like homesick during the day on like a Monday or whatever, you turn on daytime television and, you know, stuff like this is playing all the time on TV. And, you know, because of that, I've just noticed that it really is just, they hit the nail on the head with that. That's all I can say, is that, you know, as far as the pacing, you know, the, you know, even the writing, you know, the dialogue just feels very at home with this theme.
Indeed.
Yeah.
Lunar Octopus just commented and said to him it felt like a setup for a series. I kind of got that vibe too. What I ended up taking away from it is that the film was budgeted. You can only put so much time and effort into it. There was pretty much all of the animation and then enough for a story that, you know, wouldn't interfere with what they were trying to do.
If the episode was like, I mean, granted, if it was like a build-up for like a show, if the episodes were going to come out in like every 3 years, then yeah. But
that's what happened with the show.
I think
I'll be dead before the finale.
Yeah.
I think it's true of a lot of short films that, you know, they do kind of feel like just a segment of a larger, you know, like feature film, and then they do in a way kind of leave you wanting more. And so,
but that's good though. Like,
exactly.
Yeah.
And so I think that's what this film was kind of meant to be, you know, in the vein of. Because in a sense, a lot of short films, you know, while films in their own right, are also, you know, kind of, you know, made as, you know, resume building type things that, you know, it's kind of like a, you know, like a video game tech demo, you know, where they show you a lot of, you know, really good stuff all in a really short amount of time.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Because,
it's
Cleaners is not going to become a series, but it does look pretty good for the small little bit that we get.
Wow.
Yeah, so Sebastian just said that they want to, they're going to potentially expand the universe of the Cleaners. I think I did hear Zach talking about potentially, what's the word? Doing at least a sequel to it.
Dude,
that'd be great.
When animators say potentially, they mean no, but maybe, but no.
Yeah, maybe they want to, but whether it'll actually become reality,
whether it comes to fruition.
But I think with enough demand, though, they could definitely be pushed from maybe to more of possibly.
Yeah.
Okay, we'll look into it.
Yeah, if you want to see a sequel to this film, you know, I would say best way to do that is make sure
Tweet at him
on YouTube.
Tweet at him.
Just like
Boost
support the
those
film,
views.
spreading it, sharing it with people. Tweet at
Honestly,
them.
I'll use this as like, because it is 5 o'clock. But like,
go a little longer.
I'm okay with it being one film. There wasn't enough there, or enough characters for me to be like, ooh, I want to see more. I mean, it's kind of opposite to what Matt like wanted, or Jared, but like I don't know. It doesn't. I wouldn't make one if that was the case. I wouldn't make one.
I would want to see more of the two Cleaners.
Yeah, I didn't see enough of them that I want more.
Yeah,
like
if Zach or Nathan could do, probably Zach, if Zach could make an animation of just those two characters doing something, then I'd be down to see it like maybe once a month or maybe once every 3 months. I don't know.
Once a month in your dreams.
That'd be pretty crazy. I think the idea that we're saying here is when we say we want to see more of it, we want more of what we were shown in the Cleaners, but we don't necessarily want the sequel or the reboot or the standalone origin story. We just want to see more of the Cleaners, not the Cleaners with a Vengeance. Or the Cleaners' The Last Jedi. We just want the Cleaners.
The Cleaners' Last Jedi.
Oh, no.
Yes.
I'm trying to subtly fire some pot shots here, but it's not happening, so.
Let's not go there.
The remake is coming.
They always rebooting everything. Oh, well.
Yeah, I know.
Anyways.
Like Austin said, we should probably bring it to a close in a bit.
Yeah.
Well, actually, we don't have to like go into details on them, but I say we still just kind of like shout out some of the films that we've seen that were out during our hiatus. At least
let's talk about Pantsa Hats real quick.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, we gotta talk about that one.
There's quite a bit in that.
We don't have time for that. We literally don't have time.
Austin, go away.
Don't have time. You just tell the owner of this show to go away.
The owner.
It doesn't work like that.
Austin, I could quote you, dude, and you are not the singular. Okay, whatever. We'll let that rest. But...
Excuse me?
Hey guys,
not talking back.
Thank you for the watching the Frame100 podcast as we try to end this without causing World War III. Hey Austin, I think you're the guy for the job.
Oh, dude, thanks.
No. Okay,
dude.
Well, Pantsa Hat made a video. It was cool. The end. That's all I got to say.
Go watch it.
It's Harry Potter.
So while we go and break Trevor's legs, Austin, take it away.
Guys, thank you so much for joining us for the season opener of the Frame100 podcast. Again, huge thanks to Chris and Trev for getting the layout and the setup done. It definitely would not have been possible.
You're so welcome.
Without them. Tune in again, obviously, next week. Next week will probably be, somewhat get back into our normal swing of things.
A bit more structured.
Yeah.
Go fill out that Google form. We'll throw that in the description.
Yeah, give us some topics, guys.
So,
give us your thoughts, feedback. But again, here from the podcast, often imitated but never duplicated.
It's on the
I am
screen.
your host, Frame100 Studios, with my boy Chris, Jared, Matt, and Trev. We will see you next week.
Have a great weekend, guys. God bless.
Farewell, everyone.